Welcome, friends, to Tanked Up, the podcast all about video games and beer. I'm one of your hosts, Ben, here this week with Lucy.
Hi, Ben.
Hey.
Hello. Hi.
Did I say what episode it was?
It's 356 for those
356.
who really care and noting this down.
Exactly.
Which is not us.
We're a leap year in now. We're done. We're good.
Yeah.
That's it. One episode for every day of the year if you need to catch up with us.
God, I wouldn't subject anybody to that.
Yeah,
it's another form of torture, that.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe jump through to like episode, I don't know. When did you come on, Lucy? 30, 40, something around there. Jump forward where the quality suddenly lifts.
I don't know about that. Debatable if the quality got better or not.
It did. Should we open some beers? It's still January. What are you
somehow
drinking, Lucy? Yeah, I know.
It truly is the longest month.
Long.
I mean, I have been drinking off the pot, so it hasn't been long in that sense. But it's been like five. It's going to be like 5 Tuesdays or something in a month, and it's like, what's that about? I am drinking. I'll get it when pouring it. A Northern Monk Holy Faith.
Oh, nice.
Which
okay.
I think you've had before, not on the pod, but just generally, have you?
Yes, maybe. I think so. Is that when? Yeah, I think I mentioned that I've had that before.
Yeah,
little brown can.
Yes.
Yeah.
0.5%. Hazy Pale Ale. Is there anything else? No flavor text. And I can't see any hops, if any. I don't know, maybe they're just like, yeah, it's alcohol free, it doesn't really matter what's in it.
It's got some stuff in it.
Yeah, it's got gluten in it. No, I can't really see anything. No, just Northern Monk Holy Faith.
Nice.
0.5% alcohol free.
I did see Stephen, previous guest, Points of Brew, posted up. He had alcohol free, or again 0.5% beer from Northern Monk. That was, I think it was called Hop Water, and it's literally just hops and water. They've taken everything out of it.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I think his description said it was basically just like a fizzy flavored water. It's like,
yeah.
Okay, it's almost, what is that? All foam? Is that just head?
No, it's all just very, very light straw. It looks like lemonade. It looks like craft lemonade.
Cloudy lemonade.
Yeah, just like solid block. Can't see anything through it. Yeah.
Yum.
Interesting.
Did I drink it out of the can when I had it? Maybe I did, and never saw what it actually looks like.
Maybe that's a bit more flattering for alcohol-free beers. Maybe you should just never pour them. Well, never look at them. But then I would have been like, I think the blue of last week's beer from Mash Gang was a definite signal just to like stop there. So I was appreciative that I did pour that one out.
Yeah, it's a nice warning sometimes on the colour. Saying that, I'm going to pour mine into a glass. I am going to drink a beer I've mentioned before, Clearhead, which again is a 0.5% alcohol-free beer from Bristol Beer Factory. It's got Mosaic and Citra in it. There we go, that's the can. It's labelled a mental health movement IPA because on the flavour text it says, "Thank you, buying this beer means you're helping to start real conversations and saving lives. How? Talk Club is a talking and listening movement to help people get mentally fit. 5% of the Clearhead profits go directly to the Talk Club charity, creating a sustainable, positive mental health community." It's got lactose in it. Water, barley, wheat, hops, yeast, lactose. Obviously it said it was Mosaic. Yeah, Mosaic and Citra on the front as well. But yeah, 0.5%. I think I'd mentioned it a little while ago, a couple of weeks back. It's a beer I've sampled before when other people have had it and I've had a sip. So yeah, as my last one, I thought I'd go for something that people have said. Lots of other people have gone, this is decent.
Yeah. I think outside of the podcast, it won't be my last foray into alcohol-free beers after the pod, because my curiosity's peaked. Maybe it's more morbid curiosity rather than just any other curiosity, because I want to see if like it's actually any that are good. Brulo still remains the lust. Is it Lust for Life? I think it's called. Still remains my top one so far.
Okay. Well, how is the Northern Monk?
Still yellow. The carbonation's pretty much all gone at this point. 0 head, so it doesn't even look like lemonade at this point. Smells really nice though. Like a light peach smell to it. Yeah, that's a really nice smell. If I could eat the smell, I'd be alright. Let's see.
You almost want to kind of take the experiment that step further and have a can of Faith there as well. If this is the sort of the de-alcoholed version of Faith, just to see how they compare, really.
It's not bad. I think because you got quite a lot of bitterness on there. You're not getting that. Not quite picking up that peach on the taste profile.
Yeah.
Taste wise, tastes a little bit chalky. But not.
It's going to be one of those. I don't really know how to describe this because it's just weird.
Yeah. I think it tastes. The mouthfeel is definitely chalky. In terms of taste, I wouldn't say it's. I mean, it's not overly citrus or fruity, but I am picking up on something. Maybe you could. The closest thing to describe it as is something that's a bit, citric, but I think the bitterness is, what I've said for the last couple of weeks. I think that really carries these alcohol-free beers. I think, give me the bitterness. You're most of the way there for me to make it somewhat palatable. But yeah, it doesn't leave anything else on the end of the taste other than that bitterness. Really, it doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah, it's. Because I think what I'm picking up a lot of is like, as I take a sip, is the inhale of that aroma, and it's like, ooh, am I conflating that with the taste? Because like the aftertaste, and even like moving my face away from the glass, I can't really taste much of anything. But yeah, these are like cloying chalk like feeling in the mouth afterwards, which isn't that. I'm probably making it sound worse than it is, but it isn't. It's not pleasant. I'd rather it isn't there, but
yes,
it's not completely off-putting. But yeah, it's not much to it. It's very watery, no body. As I say, the bitterness is the only thing propping it up from being just nothing. I'd rather drink air, So yeah, no. Another one on the scrappy again. Brulo still reigns supreme so far.
Cool. I will get into this one.
Yours looks a bit more like a beer.
Yes, yeah, it's very clear. It is it's got a touch of haze to it, but again, it's a really light straw colour. Again, a little bit of head. That carbonation stuck around just a touch as well. Bit of sweetness on the nose. Getting more of that mosaic maybe, but it's got a nice. It's a nice nose. It's sort of like standard IPA. What do you think an IPA smells like? This is what you think an IPA smells like. A little bit of citrus.
Good at least.
Ooh. Well, it's refreshing to start with.
Good.
Again, it's It's interesting because it's a similar kind of thing to what you've got. So that bitterness is there, but it's got just a little and a very early hint of citrus, maybe a little bit more lemony than anything on there. It's got a kind of it's not quite grapefruit, but it's definitely a slightly sweeter fruit in there as well, sat there. And both of those come in quite quickly, with the bitterness building off of that quite nicely. So again, whether it is a little bit of grapefruit and that's just leaning in towards that bitterness, it's really easy to drink. Like even with that bit of bitterness as well, it's not harsh in any way. It kind of almost feels like it's a traditional beer brewery's take on a craft beer. You know, it's almost like, we've just been brewing kind of, very flat, trad English IPAs. Now we're making a craft IPA. And this is almost what you would kind of expect of that sort of level. So they've got much, I think this one has got much closer than any of the other ones that I've drunk so far. Again, the Brulo, which I had off air last week sometime. Again, little bit sweet, maybe. That was the only sort of, not downside necessarily, but that was kind of the pushing flavour for the Brulo. Like really, really sweet. This doesn't have that kind of overriding sweetness. It sort of says, here's a little bit of citrus, here is a little bit of tropical sweetness as well. Here's a lovely bit of bitterness. Bam. Done. Yeah. Like, okay, well that sticks around for a little bit. It doesn't dry out too much. I could easily go back to it now. I could easily talk for another sort of 30 seconds, 2 minutes before having to have another sip. So it's not doing anything big. It's not big flavours. It's not trying to change anything too much. But it's reasonably solid as a an entry level IPA. Let's say this is it tastes like a supermarket IPA. Something that is just very standard and is going to go, we're an IPA. Here it is, £1.50.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you spoke of the bitterness not being harsh. I think as I haven't taken like another sip of this Northern Monk, that bitterness is starting to feel harsh on mine. Like, I think in the absence of nothing else, the bitterness is a bit overpowering, which is a bit weird. It's like eating into not eating into like a whole raw onion, but like after you've had a salad or something like that, and it's like maybe the last bite was like a bit of red onion or something like that. You've got that little bit of acridity and that bit of harshness on your palate still. That's what this tastes like.
Okay.
Not great.
Yeah, unfortunate.
But this is the last week of doing this shit. So.
Yeah, exactly. We'll move on to big boy beers, or some kind of beers that have
any beer,
normal, any beer. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It definitely calls for a trip to the bottle shop at the weekend, or when I'm back.
You'll be dancing down those aisles in the beer shop. You will.
Just like, how much money do I have? Or who cares? This one.
Let me write you a check.
If you could cash it in 6 months' time, please, that'd be brilliant. Yes, we should go and see what we've been missing, or what I've been missing for a month. Before we move on to games, Lucy, just swiftly, you mentioned having some beers off air. You went out and tried putty, didn't you? And I know back this time last year when putty released, we had a little putty party. With Tom from We Are Beer. We all grabbed that year's version. I was going to say month, but it's not, it's yearly. How was this one? How was this year's?
I mean, rewind back 12 months and, probably the same thoughts. Like, it did evoke, it's like I haven't had that beer in a year, but it did evoke a lot of the feelings that I had last year. It's a very good double IPA, It's I'd say it was on the level of like some of the Cloudwater, when they came out with their whole version 13,
nice.
12, whatever. It's on that kind of level. Just very. It's an old school juice bomb, and I don't think many people like have even the ability, given that prices are going up and everything, are making nowadays. And like, a lot of people are scrimping and saving, so people may not want to buy double IPAs that are on tap that are like, £5 for a half. So it's like a throwback to a simpler time. So in that sense, it's nice. But yeah, just really fruit forward. Got a nice, heavy bodied and nice viscous taste to it, and just I could have sat there drinking that all day, but that 8% would have caught up on me real quick. But yeah, just a really pleasant beer. I don't think it's worth all the hype. I think, I guess it's more of tradition rather than anything at this point. But I wouldn't go absolutely doolally to get your hands on a can, especially when Verdant do other double IPAs which are just as nice, But I think having it on draft definitely, raised the bar for it, because if it was just in a can, it would just be like, okay, I can get double IPAs like this elsewhere. But it's all part of the being a fan of beer, I guess. Sometimes you just get caught into some releases. I mean, it's impossible to, keep up with them all. So it's like, one that's like just has a marker in a certain month. It's January. At the end of January, everyone's dying for it to be February. It's a nice way to, sign off the month, and it probably brings, businesses who are struggling at this time more business. Probably brings, well, it definitely brings Verdant more businesses, but going to a tap room or a bottle shop, people will go out and get that. So I guess it's net good. There's nobody like stabbing anybody else over getting a can of putty. It's not quite, Air Jordan's level kind of madness. So yeah, why not?
Nice. Yeah. I agree. It's probably a really good time to bring an event beer out and get a bit more hype around it, as some people maybe are coming out of their dry January, buy a couple of cans in or something like that, ready to have, or to get out to a bar potentially for something like an event beer. Nice. Cool. Let's talk about games then. I've played a little game. I don't imagine it's going to be little on its full release, but I've actually played a demo of the new Steamworld game.
Oh yeah.
Which
what's it called
is
again?
Very simply called Steamworld Build. It is it's an interesting take on a kind of city builder type game. Very much leaning into sort of like the idea of SteamWorld, going back to SteamWorld Dig a little bit more than sort of the other games that have come out, because the SteamWorld games have gone across quite a reasonable amount of genres so far, with their kind of steampunk aesthetic and stuff carrying across. Build keeps the aesthetic. It's gone to 3D because it's a builder game, sort of city builder. I say 3D, it's all still kind of top-down isometric views on everything, but it follows sort of similar kinds of trappings as a building game. You build houses for workers. Workers are then needed for various kind of production lines. So forestry makes then goes to a mill to make wood. Wood allows you to build other buildings. You can get coal. Coal allows you to, I guess it's to heat the homes rather than anything, because then each of the kind of houses has a few things that they want to be like satisfied with. So we've got enough coal, we've got enough cactus water, I think is the sort of the food as
Very
such,
nice.
because they're in a desert. It's all very Western based. And there's progression through that. Your workers, or some of your workers, can then be upgraded to an engineer. Engineers are used to open up different buildings and different things. And then it takes a bit of a turn. And there's a bit of a story through it to say the planet that they're on is breaking apart, is collapsing, and they need to escape. And they have this sort of AI with them who basically says, I know where to go to get some parts for a rocket ship. But the rocket ship is buried. So your town is built around a mine shaft from an old mine. And once you get to a certain point in building up your town, you then get to go underground and start digging and mining. And it turns into almost like a dungeon keeper style game, where you're actually saying, I want to mine out these bits of rock. Cool, I then set down, I'll mark out this area to be for my miners. So the bigger the area, the more miners I can have. I've got to set up struts so the ground above doesn't fall in and cave in on us. That then progresses again. Miners then become, I can't remember what they're called, prospectors maybe. Someone a bit more specialist who can mine different levels of things. And all of that then is again tied into the above ground city builder stuff. Because to get more unlocks underground, you've got to get more buildings above ground. You've got to grow your population. You've got to make your engineers better. And I played it. I played the full demo, and it takes you to where you find this first part for a rocket ship, and then stops you there.
Okay.
But that, from the kind of icons that are left, probably doesn't even look like I've uncovered maybe half of the things that you can sort of open up. So there's still a lot of game there to play. Lots of stuff I don't know about it. Is it always this level? When I start the game up, if I get the game and I start it up, will it be this level again? Or is it kind of procedurally generated maps and areas, monsters that might appear in the underground sections? There's lots that I've seen from key art that I haven't done in the underground life. Nothing's appeared, nothing's turned up to sort of scare me off in the underground sections and stuff. There's sort of pictures of there might not be guns as such, but sort of defense kind of turrets and stuff like that. So there's a whole element there as well that I haven't picked up on. But tonally, it's really good. The voice acting works well. It feels like not a Steamworld game, not as much as like Dig or Heist did. It feels maybe like, I didn't play the RPG one. Quest, yeah, which I know both you and Adels did. And I don't know how
like
different.
Number one on his Game of the Year or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it could have been actually. I don't know how different that one felt, but this just feels almost sort of, because it's gone for a more Western, like a Wild West style of aesthetic on top of everything. It just feels a little bit more like Steamworld adjacent, I suppose. And it would be interesting to see, because as we mentioned, they're working on a lot of games at the moment within the franchise. So it'd be interesting to see how all of them pan out. If they kind of do tie in together, and it's only through name and that central, they're robots kind of idea, rather than it being within one kind of shared world almost.
Yeah. If there's anything that I know about Image and Form, well, I guess it's technically under Thunderful now, or something like that.
Thunderful, yeah.
Yeah, all of their games, well, at least from the Image and Form side, are just like, they're all really good, regardless of the genre. As you say, they've done, tower defense, Metroidvania, card RPG, like, they're all just quality games. So, I mean, I don't have interest in this genre, which, don't have interest in, well, for the most part, like turn-based RPGs or card-based RPGs. But I played it because of the Steamworld, name and brand recognition, I guess. Yeah. But I think them saying on the little direct that they've got like 4 Steamworld games in development. I'm not sure if that is including this one or not.
Yes,
but,
it is.
Okay,
yeah.
so 3 others. That's way more interesting. It's just like, okay, cool, I can skip this one. But it's kind of weird. I mean, every studio has to grow, and it's like great that they can employ more people and more ideas around the table, but I just fear that something might be lost. As you say, like, you're getting SteamWorld vibes, but is it like true SteamWorld? Like, I fear that, like, in these 4 games, maybe something gets lost. Maybe not the quality, but maybe the charm and of like those first however many games they made, 5 games or whatever. So I mean, cool that this exists.
Yeah.
When I saw it, I did think, yeah, that's a Ben game. Let's build it. It's got build in the title, so
it's true.
It's a Ben game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's build a zoo and let's Steamworld Build. And
oh, mate, that'd be great. Steamworld Build or Steamworld Zoo or something. Again,
maybe there'll be animals,
just Planet Zoo with a Steamworld skin to it, basically. I suppose that does become the problem. Like, when is it suddenly just a skinned game from something completely different?
Yeah.
Is there shared
the aesthetic?
It's just the aesthetic. Is there shared then kind of names and items and ability? Whether it's games with abilities and weapons and that kind of stuff. Is it lore that's shared across these games? And I don't know with Build, because obviously I've only played the demo and I don't know how deep any of that kind of goes. But it feels like, and I really want to be wrong, that they're spreading themselves a little thin with that many titles. I think one of the games coming out is a mobile game.
How is it?
Yes.
I didn't watch the whole of the direct. I saw this and I was like, yeah, I'm out. Yeah. I heard that they said we have 3 more, in development. I was like, cool, thanks, bye.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brian. Yeah. I'll see you later. So, yeah. A mobile game, you say? What's that?
I don't know. I can't remember. Worth having a look if anyone is interested in the Steamworld games and knowing what's going to be coming out. I think it was saying 3 of those 4 are coming out this year, including the mobile game and Build. Build's probably a little bit closer than some of those other ones. But also like Thunderful, I think, working with various other developers and stuff. There's a bunch of games coming out from them soon. Planet of Lana, Viewfinder as well, which looks really good. Thunderful never really get mentioned much in conversations around publishers who have got like a really decent stable of games and stuff. But actually, you look at what they've got, and they've done really well. They've got some really good games on there.
Because it was them and Image and Form and Zoink Studios,
Zoink,
came together. It's like I love like 99% of their games, and it's just like so them putting that quality into like their publishing arm doesn't surprise me, but maybe I don't like these conglomerations, even though it's a small Scandinavian indie publisher. Maybe there's something that just rubs me the wrong way about that.
Potentially.
Like, why are you consolidating these days? Maybe it's that. I don't know. Oh, can I talk about something that made me extremely happy today?
Yeah, absolutely.
Found out about Shadowgate. The team who made the original Shadowgate are making a sequel in the year 2023.
Oh, wow.
And they've got a Kickstarter for it. And I was like, okay, I'm there day one, because I'm sick, and I need these games that are like could run on an NES in my life. And then I was reading like the Kickstarter thingy brief. They were like, "Oh, we're teaming up with this indie called Graph Metal."
Oh.
And I was like, "Oh, hello!" They made like other like indie titles that are like basically Shadowgate. They made one in space and one that's set in like, I don't know, this fantasy world, and really enjoyed both of them. And the guy, I think it's just one guy, he was working on another game. They're just like free indie games on itch. They were free. I think it's GRAHF. Is it Graph? No, let me see. Graph. Yes, GRAHFMETAL. Yeah, just free little things on itch.io.
Yeah,
loved all of them. Yeah, he was working on a new Shadowgate-esque point-and-click adventure game.
Nice.
And it was like I always checked up on his Twitter every now and then. It's like, okay, he went dark because I think he said that got family stuff to sort out or something like that. And it's like, okay, I'll check. It's more important. Check back in a few years.
Mm-hmm.
And then this announcement comes around, and it's like, oh, we're teaming up with him. It's like, oh, really? This is like two worlds colliding, and just made me very happy. It's like there are still people making these kind of games. I love them. I just love the pixel art and the millions of ways to die, and just makes me very happy. So as long as I live to see that release, I'm good.
Good. Good.
So yeah,
that's all you need.
Yeah. It's like, oh, Nintendo and the other guy who made Crypt of the Necrodancer coming together. People would have been stoked about that, you know? And it's just like, I liked that game, but it's like, Zelda, take it or leave it. Crypt of the Necrodancer, especially Ruin games, leave them. Whereas this is the niche that I like. Yes. So
nice.
Very happy. Very happy.
Good. Have you been playing anything else this week?
I went back to. I hadn't played anything for like 2 weeks. And I just, sat down and was just like, I'm just gonna play Potion Craft because I want to get back into playing a few games, and went back to it. And then ended up playing like 6 hours yesterday. It's one of those games that are just like vortex. You get sucked down it. There's no coming back. So, but it's just something that's nice to plug away at every now and then. So, got back into Potion Craft, and it's like, okay, I've had my fill of this for this session. So, on Steam Deck, just feel like, well, what can I play that's just like low effort and short? And this game that I bought sometime last year, I think, called Below the Ocean on Steam, came out December 2021.
Okay.
It's about 40 minutes, and it's very good. It's how I want games to be.
Nice.
Like, get in and get out. Say what you need to say. Put all your mechanics out there. It never overstays its welcome. Like, just the right morsel, just the right little taste, and it's just like, cool. It's a bingo cards, pixel art puzzle platformer. I really like the art, and it's like very simple, like britones. There's like, it's like monochromatic black and white, and then just little tones of blue or yellow in it. But it's made by, I think, one person. I think his name's it just popped up on the trailer there. Ishmael Rodriguez. And it's it's 4 levels. And there's like not even any credits at the end, so it's just like very, it's like you complete the 4th level and it's like, that's it. Not even any credits, but it'd just be like his name seemingly. So it's like, why bother put this in the game? But yeah, it's a physics-based puzzle platformer. You're basically this deep sea diver, and the whole central mechanic is that you're basically tethered to these oxygen tanks, and then it's about getting to the next oxygen tank and using the tether to like do physics puzzles, like swing around on a fulcrum and stuff like that, and get leverage and reach places using the physics and stuff like that. Which it's got very floaty controls, but I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that literally you're underwater, so you have this kind of like this less gravitational pull to your jumps, which makes the game forgiving. Like, there are deaths in it, but it's like just instant respawn. It's more about trial and error and figuring the puzzle out rather than being like a precision based platformer that's, say, like Super Meat Boy or something like that, or Celeste. Very much focused on the puzzle element, but it's just so well designed in the sense that you never have to think more than 5 seconds about what you need to do, and it's just about figuring things out pretty quickly. It's just flows, pardon the pun, just like flows really nicely, and it develops like new mechanics, like killing enemies, or using bubbles to like float, and it packs quite a lot into like the 40 minutes, and each level out of the 4 it probably introduces like maybe 2 or 3 extra mechanics, but it's just like it's not overwhelming. It builds in a really nice and satisfactory, satisfying way. And each level is probably about 10 minutes, so it's like
nice.
In and out within an hour, and it was just like, yes, more, please, more of these kinds of games. Say what you need to say, show me everything that you want. It's like you could have dragged out some of these mechanics for like 70 levels, and it's just like, for God's sake. No, doesn't do that. It's just very good.
Nice,
very good.
Nice. Has it made you go and look for more games by the dev at all?
No. Shall I look on Steam now? Oh, he's made one of it. Well, coming soon. Hazmat Magic. Oh, it's pixel art. Tick. Yeah, add to your wish list. I don't even know what it is. It's just like, it's a puzzle platformer. There's a guy in a yellow hazmat. It's very cute. And he's, cool.
Nice. Yeah, you'll find out at some point.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Ben. Never thought to do that. 2 things that have made me very happy today.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah. But yeah. That's been me. Nothing else to report.
Good. I think it's the way of it, sort of in January, isn't it? We talk about this every year. Loads of games get pushed from release in January. You spend a little bit of time kind of catching up on games from last year and that sort of thing. I've dabbled in Elden Ring just a touch more, I think, than when we spoke last time. Probably getting killed continuously in the same fucking place. So I think, cool, I'll go and explore somewhere completely different then, rather than bashing my head against this anymore. I'm just generally kind of floating around that game a little bit. But it's nice to kind of not feel that there's any kind of sense of urgency to jump onto a new release or play something else for that sort of sense. So it's nice to have that kind of relaxed bit of time. But something that sprang to my mind as we were talking just now, we found a game not that long ago. I think it was around Halloween kind of time, October-ish, for a pixel art horror game that released in 3 parts previously, but the 3rd part was then all of the parts that had come out. And I was thinking about it the other day. I don't know. Maybe.
Was that the name of the game? Faith? Or Faith thingy? I picked that up. I just haven't got around to it yet. I started another horror game.
Yes, it is called
Iron Lung. Yes.
I am lung.
Iron.
Oh, iron lung. Like I am bread, but you're a lung just flopping around everywhere.
Yeah. Now that I'd play. Iron is in the element.
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't finished it yet. I think I'm close to finishing it. Atmospherically, it's very good. Gameplay is... It gets kind of tedious quite quickly.
Okay.
And there hasn't been any scares yet. So unless there's like one big scare that gives me a literal heart attack at the end, I'm a wuss with horror games as it is. So if it can't like scare me, then what are we doing here?
Yeah.
I just heard a lot of people talking quite highly of it last year, and it's just like, atmospherically, the sound design, and you're in this very small like submarine, very claustrophobic, but maybe it's not claustrophobic because I'm literally playing it on like a 32-inch screen rather than the Steam Deck. But I don't know.
Is it one of those kind of like, does it deserve that horror tag or not really?
Not at the moment, because all I see, basically, you're just down there to take pictures of what is in this blood ocean. Because apocalyptic, the world's over. Planets are dying / dead, trying to find new signs of life or habitation or whatever it is. Take some photos of some whale bones under the sea. And it's like, cool. It's like, will I at least get swallowed by the whale? Maybe, bit Pinocchio in it, or do I fight the whale? Maybe Dick style. What are we doing? So yeah, not too impressed so far, but
Fair.
Probably only got like 20 minutes left. It's not a long game. Half the struggle was figuring out what do I do at the start of the game. Just said go to Reddit. Yeah. It's like, I'm in this submarine, I keep bashing into walls and just dying immediately. It's like, I get it. Yeah.
Suddenly it just clicks, and like, oh yeah.
It's because they give you a map, and it's like, you have to get to coordinates on the map. But I was like, the map is like kind of like... Is it topographical where it's got like depths and stuff like that? And I didn't realize that it was signifying that it was like there's only so much of the map where you can navigate, and I was like, oh, it's in the darker shaded part where I'm navigating. Okay, so yeah, maybe a bit dumb on my part, but yeah, when it was like, oh, I get it.
I'll play this game slightly differently now.
Yeah. I get it there. Nice. Oh, and the angles that I need to take the picture at is not exactly the same as the angles. Because I understand basic maths, So it's just like, I know there's 360 degrees to a circle. So, yeah, I don't know. Whale bones. Okay.
Loads of whale bones. Should we have a just finish out on a mini topic for the episode? You, Lucy, shared in our Discord a post about Goldeneye coming back out.
It was a deal because I don't care about Goldeneye, but
so
yeah, I commented on it.
Yes, you did comment on it. The idea that Goldeneye is being re-released or has been kind of remastered. Yes, remastered rather than remade. Yeah. But firstly, does Golden have any nostalgia for you at all?
No.
No.
No, and I hate the N64 controller. There's a reason why I didn't buy that console. So yeah.
When we got together in Bristol for the beer festival, and we went over to that bar with all of the
subjected me. No, get it right. You subjected me to holding that controller and slapping about.
Exactly. Yes, and we played Goldeneye. I think it very quickly became apparent how aged that game had become. So it would be interesting to see what this new product brings, whether it is a faithful recreation, whether they have played with the controls a little bit or something like that. But one thing that was that you brought up, which we don't know whether it's true or not. It may be. I haven't fact checked it. Was you were mentioning that it doesn't have multiplayer on the Xbox version?
Online multiplayer, yeah, it doesn't have online.
That,
as a local, but who's doing that now?
That seems like a crazy decision.
I don't even think it was theirs to make, because Nintendo Switch has the online multiplayer thing. Because as far as I know about this game, like, Microsoft wanted to do it like 20 years ago when they acquired Rare. Well, maybe not 20, probably 15 or something years ago. Nintendo and whoever owns that particular James Bond film, I don't know, it could be like Lion,
or like MGM or someone like that, isn't it?
Yeah. Basically, having to compromise with them, and Nintendo were just like, no. I think they maybe even started making it. Maybe it was finished or something like that. But fast forward till last couple of years, there was always rumors of it. I think it got delayed, supposedly because of it was meant to come out last year, I think on an anniversary or something, but because of the war in Ukraine, anything related to Russia was swept under the carpet, especially like Nintendo side, like the what's the name of that tactics game that they've indefinitely delayed because of the war in Ukraine?
I don't know.
God, I never played it. People love it though. War something. But yeah, I think it's only coming out now because there's enough distance between the breakout of the war and now, I guess. But
right.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I don't know, but the rumor is that the only compromise Microsoft could do to get this out was for the Switch version to have online multiplayer, and the Xbox version doesn't.
Right.
It's a weird thing. It's stupid. I think when people play the Switch version online, if they want to, they're going to be like, this is dumb. Why are we playing this in 2023? Because it hasn't aged well. And I don't know how much work they've done to it. I don't know if it's like...
Yeah.
The Quake remasters that Xbox put out on Game Pass, like, those are fantastic and still play really well, so I don't know if it's going to be like that. So.
No, does it have any? Because it's full nostalgia. Like, I've got great nostalgia for Goldeneye, and that does only extend having played it recently just to the memory of that. And again, I've got no want, let's say, to play this. I would imagine it's going to be on Game Pass when it comes out. Have you got any kind of inkling to even try it? I suppose because it's on Game Pass potentially, just to boot it up and go, cool. Let's just see what the campaign's like for the first sort of level, perhaps.
To see the square blocky faces, yeah. But otherwise, I don't think so. I mean, it's there. If it's on Game Pass, if it doesn't leave Game Pass, maybe one day I'll get some weird inkling to play it. But yeah, it's just not anything that I'm nostalgic for, or yeah. I think it's a cool thing that it's come out and it's like, this is good. Like, even though I think it was part of? I don't think it was part of Rare Replay. So
no, I don't think it was.
So yeah, so maybe just like from what's it called? Not cataloging, but just like video game. What's the word?
Completionism. Have to play every single game.
No, definitely not. Not restoration. No, just having them available.
Like a preservation sort of.
That's the word. That's the word. Yeah, from a preservation point of view, I think it's good. It's good.
Yeah. rather than having to get your N64 out and blow in the cart every time you want to try and play it instead.
Yeah. For people who, I mean, look at something as not as old as Call of Duty Black Ops. Like that's backwards compatible. It's just so easy just to have the disc in the drive and just play it when I want. But yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Listeners, if you're going to be playing GoldenEye or you have fond memories of it, let us know. You might entice. What's it going to be on? It's Switch and Xbox, I think. Is that it?
Yeah.
Maybe PC Game Pass.
God knows.
Who knows?
I think it's just it's nice when something old comes out and it's new again, just even for that week, I guess, and then you bounce off it or whatever. But I guess that bit of euphoria is now nice for like a couple days.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Let's finish up there for the evening. Circle back round to our beers. Lucy, how's this one gone down?
I stopped drinking it because it just became so dry and bitter that it was like actually like and chalky. It was just irritating my throat, and I only had so much water, so it's just like it's just gonna make me cough. So I mean, half left. Might go down the sink again.
There's been
this is a common occurrence.
Yeah, well, I mean, as we've mentioned, there's been a couple of good ones. You've had a couple of reasonable alcohol-free beers, but I think on episodes we're almost 2 for 2 now with Drain Pause. We had 4 or 5 over 4 episodes. So yeah, you're almost 50% with Drain Pause to not.
And that's just those. There's been others where it's like, okay, the podcast ended and I forgot to drink it. It's just like, oh yeah.
Find it the next morning, like, what beer was this? Who knows? Just get rid of it.
Yeah, it's probably already evaporated by then. It's just water. But yeah.
I think this Clearhead, it stayed decent throughout the beer as well. The bitterness disappeared a little bit. Sort of as I was about halfway through, stopped being quite as apparent. But decent beer. Very easy to just crack another one open and drink it. As I said, it is quite refreshing as well. So as soon as you sort of like sip it, like, oh yeah, I could just keep drinking this, which is
nice.
That's kind of, I suppose, what a 0.5% an alcohol-free beer wants to hit, doesn't it? It wants to have that kind of drinkability and just enough of a flavour to keep people coming back to it.
Yeah, that's good. I might have to keep an eye out for it.
I think it's sold in quite a lot of places, actually.
Okay.
I say quite a lot of places. Anywhere you can get Bristol Beer Factory beers, I would imagine this is now sort of on standard, one of their core kind of beers that might come out. I found it just round the corner with all the other Bristol Beer Factory beers that he's had in it. The first time he'd had this in, I think, a week ago, or not even a week ago, probably. So yeah, I would very much recommend Clearhead from Bristol Beer Factory if people are looking for an alcohol-free beer. I think it's the only one I would actually recommend from all of the beers that I have drank. Lucy, you'd recommend the Brulo, I think, as well.
As you say, it's got that sweetness to it, so I don't know if I'd recommend it, but it's like the one that I've gelled with most so far. Although the chug from Mash Gang was quite nice. Yeah.
Nice. Good. So that's it. That's the end of January almost. We'll be back on alcoholic beers from the next episode. If you have been listening along and you've been trying some alcohol-free beers, let us know. At Tanked Upcast on the socials. I'm at Nova_47. Lucy is
in need of a heavy stout, I think. Might have to, as you say, visit the bottle shop in the next week.
Nice.
I'm GC Loose 9.
Good. And everyone should come to outoflives.net to look at our lovely faces and the beers that we are drinking on our video version, looking at other things on Outliers on it, like Kyle's articles that go up kind of every week. Lee puts a lot of reviews up as well, and there's occasional stuff from Lucy and I when we find some time to write. I think that's everything, everywhere. Rate and review us on your podcast service of choice, because it always helps. And we'll be back next week with hijinks, laughter, joy, all the things.
And Adele.
Yes, and Adele, yes. I was going to say all the things that have been missing with the alcohol, but all the things that are missing without Adele. That's the actual thing we should be saying. So. Absolutely. But this week, we've been Tanked Up. Goodbye.
Ciao.
www.outoflives.net